Minecraft, Limited Edition. Today's episode is a limited edition, The Science of Swiftness. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I've set up a little speed measuring course over here so that we can test the different speeds that you travel in Minecraft with different kinds of transportation. And so basically every 10 meters there's a piece of netherrack, and I am going to kind of talk through this as I do it and then measure some things as I watch the video afterwards, and then in this video I'll report on the different measurements. But the first measurement I want to do is travel by minecart, and the entire track lasts 100 meters long, and I have powered rails every 20 meters or so. I have another 2 powered rails, and so this ought to keep us at nearly maximum speed for the length of the course. And so that was traveling by powered rail. The next thing that I'm going to test is traveling simply by walking the course, and then I will also do sprinting as well as sprint jumping. And then finally, I'm going to test things using some of the potions of swiftness or speed. I forget what they're called. And basically my goal is to find out the fastest way to travel in Minecraft over flat terrain. And so that was the test for the minecart. Once again, I said I'll measure and report the results in just a moment. But next up, I will do the walking test. And since the walking test will be boring, I'll probably edit it out, but I'm basically just going to walk straight down the length of the course. So I'll see you guys again in a moment. Alright, next up is sprinting without jumping. And so this is just a nice flat run. There's different advantages and disadvantages to different modes of transport. The minecart rails take a long time to set up and to get all the resources, even if you do kind of pillage a lot of the Minecraft rails from the abandoned mines underground. But once you do it, it's very easy to use and reuse without having to worry about using any food and things, whereas things like sprinting and sprint jumping, you end up using a lot of food, and so you have to have some food on your person in order to kind of maintain those modes of travel. And so what I'm trying to do is just gather some data so that I know the various trade-offs, so I can decide what I want to do for a kind of long-term east-west rail line through my world. I already am going to use nether portals to travel north and south through the nether. Alright, so we just did sprinting. Now let's do sprint jumping, and that's basically holding down jump, and I believe this travels almost as fast as a minecart. It's just slightly slower than a kind of full power minecart. And so I will measure this, and basically with these 4 measurements, I'll go ahead and look at the video right now and tally them up, and we'll put the results on a sign. So I'll see you all in a moment. Alright, here are the measurements I made from the first set of tests. Minecart took 12 seconds, sprint jumping took 14 seconds, sprinting took 18 seconds, and walking took 23 seconds. And these may be a little imprecise. I was just measuring based on the seconds counter on the video. But at least we have some data about the relative speeds of these things. So now the next thing that I want to do is I have some potions prepared. The potion of swiftness with both speed 2 and normal speed. And so I want to try drinking these potions and then both walk and sprint jump with these potions in tow. And so that's the next set of tests. First up, potion of swiftness, and then I'll do walking. Alright, here we go. And once again, this will be boring, so I'll edit it out. The speed potion is still active, so now I will measure sprinting with that potion. And obviously we're going quite a bit faster here. And so I'll be interested to see how much time this turns out to be. And then finally, I will measure sprint jumping with this potion. And while this potion is still active, sprint jumping with the level 1 potion of swiftness. And as usual, sprint jumping makes good time. These potions of swiftness don't take much to create, just netherwort and sugar, once you have a brewing station. And so that's not a lot of resources if they're going to be able to move us quickly without having to build a bunch of mine tracks. Next up, I'm going to try the Potion of Swiftness level 2, which is something that you can get by adding glowstone to one of the normal swiftness potions. I should note as an aside that I don't know if you're simply under the potion or you walk faster, given the speed, if that makes you lose your food bars any more quickly than when you're just walking normally. And so that's one of the things that I'm not planning to test in this particular test. I'll have to check the wiki to see if it has information about that, or run a separate test at some other point in time. It's a fresh day, and I'm ready to start the next test with the Speed 2 potion. And so let's drink this guy up. Yum, yum, yum. And give it a try. First of all, just walking. And yeah, you walk pretty fast with this particular potion. I'll be interested to see how this compares to sprinting when you don't have any potion effects at all. Alright, so I'll measure that in a moment. Next up, we'll test sprint jumping while under Speed 2. And this is definitely very fast. And I just realized that I need to test sprinting as well under the Speed 2 potion, which I've already forgotten. So that'll be the final test that we run. I think this potion's going to wear off, but I have another one, and so we'll drink another one in just a moment. Alright, and finally, we'll test sprinting without jumping while under the Speed 2 potion. And this actually seems quite fast as well. And so I'm going to go back and look at these videos, measure the results, and put them up on the sign once again, and then we'll know once and for all how fast you go. Alright, and here are the measurements I just made. With Speed 1, sprint jumping took 14 seconds, sprinting took 15 seconds, walking took 20 seconds. With Speed 2, sprint jumping took 13 seconds, merely sprinting only took 12 seconds, and walking took 17 seconds. And so, obviously, this is just measurements that I'm doing by looking at the video times. They could obviously be off by up to a second each. And yeah, my measurements are, relatively imprecise. The point is just to get a ballpark figure of approximately how fast things are. And indeed, if you're using a Speed 2 potion, then sprinting with that is about as fast as traveling in a minecart. And indeed, even without any potions, simply sprint jumping is nearly as fast as traveling by minecart. So there you go, some basic science experiments to find out relative travel speeds. This is an unusual episode of Exploration and Tactics with Brian. This is part of my Let's Play. This is in my Let's Play world. The location I'm at is about halfway between the Northern Arch base and my original spawn point. I got here by traveling through portals through the Nether. I chose this location because the desert was nice and flat, and I only had to do a little bit of sand mining to kind of flatten it out to make the little 100-yard course, or 100-meter course. And yeah, all the materials were obtained legitimately. So, for those of you in my Let's Play, when we return, we will probably be back at the Northern Arch and be going back through doing some more Nether exploration.